Pittsburgh is a city that's proud of its tough blue-collar roots. But there's a huge and deadly part of its past that's been almost forgotten. 3 miles northeast of downtown is the site of the once great Allegheny Arsenal. Today, it's a park, but for over a century, it was a vital military stockpile that became the setting of the bloodiest civilian tragedy in the Civil War and was possibly hiding a top-secret subterranean supply line for the Union Army. So all of this used to be known as the Allegheny Arsenal. It's an enormous place, 30 acres of what was an incredibly important military facility. The rumor is that this whole place is riddled with tunnels, kind of a legend in this area. Why the tunnels are here, no one really knows, but I've been given access to this old building here. It's a former powder magazine that dates back before the Civil War. This is actually a machine shop now. But look at the incredibly thick brick walls, 4 feet or more thick. The reason for all this fortified structure around me here is because this was a storage facility for gunpowder. And stacks of incredibly volatile black powder inside of wooden kegs. The history of this building is well documented, but the tunnels were more of an urban legend. It suggested that there are these openings. There you go. See how deep it is? Okay. I don't know, crawl space or tunnel, you're not sure, but the legend has it, rumor has it, that these tunnels riddle this whole property, running from up here down to the river. There's not much evidence of it today, but the original arsenal extended all the way to the Allegheny River and included barracks, a blacksmith, and most importantly, a small factory where explosive charges were packed into cannonballs and cartridges. There was no evidence of any tunnels until recently. Hey, Jude, how you doing?
Hi, Don.
Jude Wodarczyk is one of the historians who discovered the remains of the 19th century passageway buried under this 20th century bridge. Oh, there you go. That's the opening?
That's the opening, right.
The great opening leads into the foundation of the bridge, and the 19th century relic is further inside. So this goes back a ways, huh?
Into the jaws of mystery here.
Oh, wow. This is more spacious than I thought. Lots of little compartments. What are these rooms that I'm seeing?
There's a whole honeycomb of these chambers.
Okay.
It's all part of the construction of the bridge.
While it looks solid from the outside, the bridge supports are actually a hollow maze of rooms. It's just as sturdy and cuts down the cost of filling the space with concrete. It also made it possible for historians to uncover a small portion of the mysterious passageway. Jude pointed me in the direction. Now I have to find it. There's something like 52 rooms back here, I've heard. What I'm looking for is something that takes us back more specifically to the arsenal. Whoa, look at this. Come here. Check it out. Some kind of old foundation. Clear. Oh, jeez, there's a whole tunnel down here. That is amazing. Look, this is the old rock, the old foundation of some kind of building from the 1800s, and then a circular roofed opening underneath of it. So this could very well be one of the original tunnels. The poured concrete from the bridge construction is blocking this passageway, but there's still plenty of clues right here. I don't see this being a sewer, because the wall rock dating back to the mid-19th century, if not earlier. I mean, way earlier, perhaps. And this brickwork, of course, same time frame. And I think this really shows you something important. This last bit of plaster that would have been smoothed on and run all the way across this wall, very likely that this was actually, you know, a finished off surface. It seems unlikely the city would take the time to finish a sewer system with plaster. There has to be another explanation. If you extend this small section, it could be part of a structure leading from the river to the arsenal. An ideal setup for secretly transporting black powder munitions to waiting boats. A smooth plaster surface would have been water resistant, absolutely essential, because wet black powder was useless. This would have been a place to protect everything that you were moving around during those years. And a tunnel system just like this one would have been integral to that effort. The exact purpose of this passageway may never be known. Not a surprise, because the arsenal isn't a beloved landmark. It was the scene of the sort of horrific tragedy people are happy to forget.
The munitions factory, the production facility, was called the laboratory. It was located over where that ball field is today. On September 17, 1862, an enormous explosion takes place.
The roads here were coated with a fine residue of black powder. All it took was one small spark of unknown origin to turn the street into a wildly burning fuse, leading straight to the laboratory and 2 other buildings. The blast was heard 2 miles away. The 78 victims of the inferno were mostly immigrant teenage girls working to support their families.
But the fact is, September 17th was also the day of the Battle of Antietam, one of the huge battles at the beginning of the Civil War. 17,000 people died in that battle. The headlines the next day were all about the Battle of Antietam and barely a word about the explosion here in Pittsburgh. Lost to history.
Life went on, the city kept growing, but the stories of the arsenal remained, hidden below the surface, waiting to be uncovered.